It looks like they're still discussing that.
And also Braxis was open. There's still a chance that Raven can pick Braxis instead because 2-lane maps, of course, easier to rotate around Braxis. You do have to... Globals do come out a lot, and even sometimes Rexar. So, who knows?
I hope so.
No Rexar yet in HGC Korea Phase 2. So, it's Raven. So, there is chance of anything, you know.
There definitely is. I think, you know, you alluded to it even after we saw the Dragonshire ban. We've seen Raven pick Braxis before. It's also a 2-lane map, just like the previous map they just played on. So there are definitely reasons why they could take us to Braxis. You're absolutely correct. And that's something that I think would be cool to see. It's also a really good map for HGC, I think, though. Like, she's got a decent cooldown. She's good on all these mages. So wave clear-oriented play is going to be nice. Hoping that when the Jaina rework comes out, we'll see HGC on Jaina.
You're a big Jaina lover, Wolf.
I just want to see it, man. It was one of the most dominating picks back in 2015. I want to see it come back.
Okay, but no Braxis.
Nope.
It is Infernal Shrines game number 2 and Raven's choice. So first pick, first pen. We'll be going to RRR. Decent choice. And Raven did focus and picked Kerrigan a few times on this map. And Aspaden also not to be left out.
Well, as far as Raven thinks.
Raven thinks.
Okay. Let's see how this draft goes. I feel like this is a draft we could see Leoric in. We haven't seen him yet today, actually, even though he hasn't been changed. We're still in the same balance patch from last week. He's changed in a lot of ways for the next patch, but a lot of people are saying he's better, but he's definitely not the same for what he can do with Royal Focus on this patch. And his level 7 that gives him the larger range of movement by 80%.
Yeah, isn't that gone with the rework?
That 7 is gone, yeah.
Yeah, that 7 talent is gone. Removed. Okay.
It might be like moved to 16 or something, but it's essentially gone. I at least if I remember correctly, it's like gone. We'll know more for next week because even though it is on live right now, it's not for HGC yet, which is what we focus on.
Okay, first ban Genji, and are they going to keep the same and ban Ario? Well, Raven, after winning game number 1, should be feeling pretty confident going into 2, and they were the one who also chose the map. Let's see what kind of style and team comp, a theme they will try to create in the second draft here. They're taking a lot of time into this first ban.
Yeah, definitely a lot of discussion going on here. Ariel seems to be the safe move, but as we were talking about, and I think that probably what Raven is talking about is that Ariel is just not really used by RRR too much.
Well, let's see. Instead of ETC, I think picking Greymane can help them immensely here because it was banned out last time. This time Tassadar.
Okay, that'll probably be EGZ's hero this time. So, I mean, Oduk's one of his best heroes is the Greymane for sure. But I don't think they'll get a chance to use it necessarily here. Does Raven just Karazim Rhaegar?
We'll see.
I mean, the soul laning and the split pushing we saw from Karazim was actually quite good. It was obviously made easier by the fact that they got an early keep. But you never know with this team. It's difficult to predict. It's more easy to just wait and see what they do and then analyze what they've chosen with this one. Because even though they've shown so much Karazim Rhaegar insta-locks here, the success rate has been quite low. I think that was their first win with it that we just watched. Lunara early on this one. The Rhaegar. Again, not standard. Do not try this at home. MV Black wouldn't try this. Okay. Do not try this.
Well, Rhaegar first pick, I think it's alright when you have the second rotation. Lunara this early seems unnecessary almost because of that RRR will just get free Greymane, which they love to play. And right now Greymane's win rate in Korea is almost as broken as it is. I think even higher after series number 1 now. It was 69 before today's matches.
Do you think they should take Uther here? Does that work with Tassadar well? I don't know about that. I think Uther's armor is very weak against Lunara's slow, longer damage as well. Like, it can be strong against, like, a Vala, because the damage is reduced repeatedly there, but against, like, the burn damage, not so good.
Okay, here we go.
So they want to wait. They want to figure out this comp entirely before they pick it. Might just be banned here, but better safe than sorry with this one. And Tyrael works very well with Greymane Tastar no matter what. An old favorite for many of the Korean teams. Kind of pioneering that back in spring and summer 2016. So Uther is an easy ban, but is it the best ban? Not necessarily. Looking towards the Malfurion. I actually like this. Silence can ruin what they have you know, set up here. Lunara then can't use her escape or leap to get out. A lot of burst damage comes in during that moment. The sustained healing coming in with a Tastar means that Greymane can function a lot better for a lot longer.
Maybe this means that Raven is looking for a, not the biggest one, but somewhat of a wombo combo with Diablo, with Diong's favorite hero coming in later on. I think it's a hint that we can see from the second ban.
That's a good point.
It is Infernal Shrine, so
yeah,
when you're fighting on the shrine, that can be also be a zoning tool for them to have, as a APOC will be a big zone. And it's very hard to escape everything. So I think that's the line of thinking if I have to make a guess.
Yeah, it's a pretty good reasoning. It does get a little bit weird for Raven because they also now have the opportunity to go Uther, like double support Lunara. But for me, I just feel like that's a very hard comp to pull off. They've never done it before. In fact, very few Korean teams have even been willing to try. That was the Western meta for Western Clash. We saw it a few times in Eastern Clash. But it feels like if you're a Western fan, you're like, oh my god, so easy, lock in the Uther, please. And they're not going to do it, not yet. Could still do it for the 5th pick.
They're going for their old favorite, the team fighting comp. They want to control the shrine and do all the damage. Lunara will be doing ranged. Sonya will be standing in the front line. Maybe can even solo shrine.
Yeah, she's one of the best solo shriners. She always has been. This was the best map for Sonya for so long, and best map for Kerrigan still. Not going to see Kerrigan anymore, but may never see Kerrigan again. But, I mean, you've got two strong melee frontliners, can both solo shrine, can both solo lane, probably be Sonya in this case. Artanis will just look for swaps in the 4-man rotations to try to get those picks with Lunara. In this game, I think if Raven wins the early game, can very much snowball into Raven's favor because of how this composition will just crush with its wave clear. Or what's it going to be? We're looking for really the supports here.
Let's see if they bring up some globals along.
Lucio.
Just for the rotation, and they do want to dive and chase this time because Sonya or Artanis will be trying to get swaps. They will try to get a lot of damage with the spear. So I think Arthas was a decent pick because there's lots of melee and bruisers on the other side.
Yeah.
Good counter.
Arthas will definitely make it more difficult for Sonya to get as much whirlwind heals as she really wants to. And if she gets rooted or Artanis gets rooted, it could ruin everything for Raven. Sound barrier very good for Greymane. This is overall, I think, a solid draft for RR, a little bit more well-rounded than their first one. For Raven, last pick here is either going to be the Uther or another type of ranged DPS, like something like Li Ming. Very much a poking one. I think Tychus is a little bit risky when you're getting into this territory, especially because before 10 he's very weak, very squishy.
I think they can still pick the Muradin, just like in game number 1. Falstad?
I like
no tank!
I like the Falstad over the Tychus at least.
No tank team comp.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically tankless. You have two bruisers. Artanis can function as a tank if he builds like a tank, which he did not in the previous set on BOE. But in this draft, certainly can work. The draft of RRR, though, looks more traditional. It's more balanced. It's more standard. It's more meta. So we'll see if they can tie it up, guys. We're heading into game number 2 on Infernal Shrines. In blue, Raven, Darvish on Sonya, Hamlin on Artanis, NMX on Lunara, Dion on Falstad, and Chom on Rhaegar.
And in red, RRR, Odok on Lucio, MSG on Greymane, EZZ on Tastar, Kong on Arthas, and take a look on Tyrael. There's a lot of damage coming out from Raven. They do have solo, not solo, double frontliners, bruisers. Artanis can also go towards the tank build, I guess, but not the most traditional tank we've seen. There's a 1-1 trade.
Yeah. Looks like that's going to be all that happens here. Odok should be able to help everybody get out alive. Looking for more, though. They get the double root. Not going to be any picks from that. I guess RR gets the final good trade there because of that. Darvish is playing with fire here. I guess somehow that helped NMX survive. I don't know if that should have been how that happened, but that's how that happened. Okay.
Raven things.
Just Raven things.
Yes.
We all knew what to expect from this series, and so far has not disappointed. All right, now let's take a look at, God, every time I say take a look, I think about how you said that about take a look before. Let's take a look at,
Take a look.
No, G-Clef, no! Let's take a look at how
I'm
this
bad influences from Wolf.
How this laning phase sets up, because remember they have 2 soul laners. So they have Sonya in mid, who's now getting set up to get pushed out by RRR, and you have in the top lane for the majority of the time it's been Artanis up against Arthas. So they kind of have 2 strong soul lanes, and then they've been struggling a little bit in the 4-man rotation in bottom as a result. Not going to actually lead to anything really impactful just yet, but I was wondering if we would see a pick because of this in the bot lane. But Ravens kept everything alive, and now they actually have control of the start of the shrine as everyone else rotates in. Falstad can split soak before coming up.
And this is Diong's first ever Falstad. Played lots of other heroes too, but this time maybe he will be able to soak out RRR because they will be controlling the shrine with a lot of damage, but they will be lacking the sustain when Chom does not have mana when he needs multiple targets to heal at the same time.
Okay, double root, triple root maybe even coming in there. Not going to matter. They were already in such good position, Raven was, that they're actually contesting this really well before Falstad even gets here. He is going to need to come up now, though. There's only so much healing Darvish can actually receive to stay alive there from his whirlwind, so he does end up dying. Falstad just not interested in coming. Looks like they're just going to give the shrine up and look for about 4 extra waves of soak. But as RR realizes this, look what happens. Immediately HGC rotates down, and they're just not going to... They're not going to let Raven get a massive experience lead. So Raven now loses both the shrine and, I wouldn't say they lost the experience lead, but they didn't get as much as they would have liked to. So I think Falstad not coming up there definitely could have cost them big. And this is an arcane Punisher we're talking about. It's not just an ordinary early game Punisher.
And if they were not going to spend Falstad to the top lane, I think they could have soaked it a lot more by just having another one in the mid lane and pushing that also. It's a little bit of indecision coming out from Raven. If they wanted to fully go for a shrine or really just soak for EXP, they had to choose one. But of course, if you're trying to choose 2 rabbits at the same time, you lose both sometimes.
No, unless like they're both running right next to each other for some reason, or like both tied together by the foot. But like otherwise, yeah, you're pretty spot on. Kong scouts this out. This is actually almost a huge moment where he could have just stolen it because they didn't have vision. He does not try to do a noblesse thing though. He walks away and Still going to have that camp taken. Meanwhile, very heavy commitment here to get Chom. They will be successful.
Nice body blocks coming out from Tekuluk, and now he will just go over the wall. And the second kill, lots of this coordination coming out from Raven. And their camp timing seems okay, but it's RR that's really punishing because they got their early camp timing.
Oh man, Darvish is up here super greedy too. He does have his whirlwind upgrade, so get out of the route. But man, like, had they had the top camp while they were pushing with Darvish up there and trying to slowly contest this, even if they lost, I would have liked it a lot more. So he didn't really get that much done. They're finding themselves in a structural deficit in kind of every aspect. Like, it's not just these impellers, it's the impellers at the bottom of the screen you guys can't see that are shooting at this. Wearing on these, taking away the ammo. And RR is just in great position structurally now. With the ammo down, this lane will always be pushed, which will give them more safety. The next shrine is about to come up. Comes up right as I say that. It'll be the mid shrine where all these cannon towers are now out of ammo. So if RR gets it, it's basically going to go straight to the fort. And look at this. They get this at the perfect timing to go with the shrine. Raven will do the same, though.
They do time it, and Falstad still at the bottom lane. Let's see if this time Falstad would join the team fight, because this one will decide who gets to go for level 10 first.
Yeah. And the only reason why they're still even in experience is because Falstad was down there for so long.
Maybe they want to stall time and try to delay as much as possible so Falstad can soak in for 10, but RR is not going to happen. Seems like they're focusing on to Hamlin right now.
Okay, Hamlin does dart away for just a moment, will be taken out, and RR is totally controlling this at the moment. Big root comes through.
Falstad joins the team fight, and NMX has been doing free damage from the side. That's what they got a kill onto Lucio.
So for one, everyone gets the tap here though for Raven, because they want to come in and actually hit this with 10. They're so close to 10. Right on the edge here, and they have the health advantage right now. HGC does have dimensional shifts. You might have to use it again.
So they are pushing in because they know they will be hitting 10 before RR does.
Yep, just a few more of these skeletons will get it for them.
It seems like RR will have enough time to come back. Still, numbers quite away from 40 right now.
This is such a huge moment. If RR gets this, they get a great lead. But it looks like Raven is actually going to grab it.
34.
Oh, he gets bopped by that spear
from Darvish there. And that seals the deal there.
That certainly does.
And Punisher will be going to Raven.
So now Raven has the ability to turn this game around structurally. They will need to go clear the Tiger dudes up here with the Fallen Shaman camp that have knocked this down to half health. So RR continues to be ahead in structures, but with the scaling of the Punisher at this point, they could definitely hope to get a fort here. And look at that swap.
Onto Arthas. So does survive though. But his own heroic and some healing coming out from Modok. May even have to pop the sound barrier. Lots of...
Sank comes in, stacked on top of each other, unfortunately, but they still get the pick here onto Darvish. He actually does not survive, and Seshwell does not go off here. That's going to be the double. And sure, they may get the fort here, but is it worth it? I don't think so, and they don't even get it. Oops. Diong is just split pushing the entire time. I feel like this is becoming more of a liability than a benefit at this stage with the Falstad split pushing, because there are certain moments where his gust could have changed the fight. He didn't use it.
Big time.
And it's just, this is a weird game. And I'm watching the Lunara solo camp, and okay. It's also not Leap from Lunara, or for Sonya for that matter, but we knew it wasn't going to be for her.
Yeah, they're basically going full team fight because I don't think Lunara has to take the lead because they have pretty decent damaging front line. So Lunara can just do damage from the side, which is exactly what we saw from the last Shrine team fight. NMX has been doing free damage. That's what they got. That's exactly why they got the kill. But this overextension in the mid fort, I think they just had the momentum to go in. Didn't realize all the protective tools that RR had, like a sound barrier, sanctification, because they were looking for kills.
Yeah, they certainly were. You called it right at the beginning before that came up. It was very much the idea to defend is to use that sound barrier. They stacked it with a Sank. It doesn't matter at the end of the day because they won the fight. This is a huge push though. They have Sonya who does so much damage. They have the Impalers. And mid fort goes down. This one soon to go down. So they actually get double forts in this play. We are seeing Dion come in for the first time now. He is here.
He is here, and he's looking for the gust angle.
He is.
Look at this positioning.
Good positioning here, actually. They're just kiting so well. They're winning the ranged war here. Ammo with the double swap as well. This could be disastrous for RR. Sound barrier, well timed. Sanctification is available. They won't stack it this time. Look at all the damage Lunara has already done. Fort goes down. RR needs to leave this position. There's no reason to stay here. No reason to stay here.
Double swap comes along from Hamlin. Is that going to be enough? Perfect sanctification, though.
Ancestral goes off this time.
Onto Darvish. He's warwinding and getting his life back. Falstead is the first one to fall. MSG actually survives, rolls out there.
Go for the throat was so well used there to get the resets. And it looks like with that sanctification, they will turn this fight around. Look at the swaps here. Hamlin survives, gets the shields up, but they don't have enough mana. They can't stay here. He's going to go down. So 3 dead on the side of Raven. They got double forts, but again at a high cost. As this game is just off the rails, G-Clef.
And no gust.
Still. I'm not saying still like he didn't this, but like I'm saying yeah, still no gust. I'm agreeing with you here.
Yeah, it was a little weird. He Falstead gets 1 CC'd, but I thought he had an angle timing to actually use the gust. Maybe they were trying to engage instead, so gust could have gave chance for RR to escape. That's why he didn't use it at the last moment. I guess that's a okay trade for both sides, as RR actually will delay their camp timing for the Shrine.
I think the advantage for RR is more temporary. I think the advantage for Raven is more permanent, that they got both forts there. RR played it risky. They won the fight, but had they lost it, they might have lost a keep wall or more. So that's why I was thinking there's no reason for them to fight. Even though they won, they didn't gain anything from it. So huge risk and like no reward. What did they even gain? They gained a 10 defender lead here, which is disappearing fast. Now this is going to be the fight they want to take. This is the fight where they have every reason to take it. They have Sanctification available again. This could be a really good one for them. Darvish just trying to maintain that fury.
He's alone. If he does not get Ancestral, there's a Gust with the Ancestral. Perfectly used for Raven, but they used a lot of the tools.
Okay, HGC is going to run out of Archon very soon. A huge blind could be their moment to go in for the big fight. Diyoung, again, untouched in the back lines here. The same to be said of NMX, who's trying to kite his way back. Darvish doing so much here to heal himself. And now they're out sustained here. Another double swap comes through. HGC has to dimensional shift, but again, the Sank is there.
Hamlin seems like he will be the first one to die.
Everyone's so low on RRR, but the sound barrier now well-timed.
Well-timed, but NMX is free to do all the damage. Now they're into the choke point. They're getting so much damage. His Interior, is it going to be enough?
Oh, there's no defense for these. There's no front line. It was a tankless comp from the beginning. Now 2v4. There's just too much damage. RR not being confident to hard engage this. Diyoung, can he 1v4? And MX comes back over. This is insane. Oh my god.
He's poisoned. They're so low.
Okay, they get the 1. This should be the 2.
1, 2. Diyoung's so low.
Oh, EGT wants to get the Side Storm kill. It's not going to happen. The Punisher did go to the side of Raven throughout all of that and is pushing here. Gets the fort. What a crazy fight that ended up becoming. RR should have won it, though. They were just not confident. They were hiding there, giving more opportunities for Raven to do extra damage.
They were panicking, basically.
That was definitely a panic, yeah.
It was like, there's a Lunara. Guys, we need range damage. But Tastar was so low. I think that was the biggest thing, because EZZ was poisoned so long. If she did not get the shield or healing, she would have died, so she could not come out. And Greymane tried to do some damage, but of course Lunara taking the Thorn, I think, was a big part in that team fight.
Oh, absolutely. Well, like a Quagnix fight right there, man. Not to say that the NMX and Quagnix are on the same level as Lunara, but the amount of time I've seen Quagnix kill like 4 people with Lunara by himself is just too high at this point. So this is now both camps taken. They didn't get the neutral camp, but they have everything else. They're just going to siege this. Play very passively. They have Sonya, who can do tons of damage as long as she doesn't get caught. There's no way to really catch her right now. Even if a root goes off, there's Cleanse. There's the Cleanse already. They have Ancestral available. They just want to gain as much value from this as they can because they got the double cap. And look at what's happening in the bot lane. They've got the Falstad split push with the Artanis. So we get into structural lead after structural lead for Raven. A game where they were so behind for so long. I feel like they've really turned it around, understanding how to use the Merc camps.
Darvish is just free to do all that because RR does not really have too much CC. Basically, I see Arthur's root is basically the only one. So she's not really scared. There's a lot of cleanse, as you mentioned, for escape. So she can do whatever she wants. And meanwhile, Falstad pushed all the way into the walls. And this camp will be doing a lot more, depending on the next shrine, where the next shrine happens. If it's top, this camp will get so much value.
Look at what Raven is doing. They're all splitting off in different directions. There's no coordination. It seems like there's frustration in comms. They actually can't even control their own camp right now. Kong comes down here. People were coming with him, then they left. So now he's going to get this massive slow from the totem at 16. He's dead. That's a dead Arthas. And now there's a huge problem. Falstad can actually continue to split push the top to get them 20 faster and get that keep wall down. All they're going to have is their camp here, which they do finally take. But this means that there's enough time, because they have all the vision of this. They saw this rotation several times, Falstad did. They have all the time to get their own camp, then they can win the battle between these Shaman camps in the top lane, because Falstad's going to be split pushing it. That puts pressure on the top keep. They have to deal with the bot camp right now. Like, everything is in Raven's favor right now. RRR is in big trouble because there's no strong play to make. There is no best play here. You just kind of have to deal with everything that's thrown at you and accept that you're going to lose this Punisher no matter what. Except for the defense. 20s are on the horizon, but you can't slow that either. Kind of almost a checkmate, if you will, at this point for RRR.
It's very hard, and only thing you could actually, even that's, if you could get a pick onto Falstad, but Falstad has Gust available, so that will be a lot of resource and time wasted if you cannot make that work. So RRR just decided to stay nearby the keeps, because they couldn't really do anything. All the camps were already taken. The shrine was lost, so. Our Raven will be hitting 20 very soon.
Okay, this is Raven's push to end the game. RRR has one chance to defend this. Blind used very early, but it's going to help keep the Punisher at top health as it starts to attack the core. MSG, the first one to go down here. It looks like he goes down. Oh, Soundbear saves him, but he might go down regardless. 20's reached. They have it.
They're on the core. Core is going down 90% already. EZ's doing so much with the Archon, but it is not the Twilight Archon, and
not yet.
Core will be going down. Punisher already on it, and all the members survive. Falstad is the only one dead, and the game's over.
Global heroes, so important. Falstad did so much for them this game. They controlled the mercenary cap so well. They win a game, 8 kills to 15, where the entirety of the early game they were behind. But every time they lost members, there was always a trade. There was always a fort, nearly a fort, an objective, a mercenary camp. The trades that RRR got for multiple kills never got advantages. But it never mattered when, after 2 forts went down, they got 3 kills. Because what they were able to achieve with it was very little. Whereas when Raven took fights and went deep, there was always a reason. There was always an answer for, okay, well, I lost 3, but I got a fort. I lost 3, but I got 2 cannon towers, and Artanis just stole the camp. Stuff like that. So, when you see games won, where the winning team has a massive kill deficit, you know that they're controlling the map better. You know that they're taking the better fights. Yep,
I can feel their momentum, and it's been a while since the Crucible. I don't think they've had any kind of this moment since the Crucible.
Yeah.
And this momentum is really rolling in favor of Raven. And on the other side, RRR is down, and they are not feeling confident. They had their moments. I think they had to take an extra step to come back in that game. They did not, and they lost that game.
Remember, this is the match that RRR has the highest chance of winning. If they lose this one, Miracle has to lose, and they have to win every other match, including against Miracle.
That seems a lot harder.
Yeah, so this is really rough, man. If they end up losing this next game, they're very likely going back to the Crucible. They might find themselves back in Open Division. Before that happens, though, we are going to take a very short commercial break. We'll be right back with game number 3.